There's one of them things within a mile of us.
Oh, Sensei.
Maybe a little off my game here.
What is it about the sea beast that reminds us so much of How to Train Your Dragon? Let's talk about it. Fans are loving Netflix's The Sea Beast, but it definitely reminded us of something we've seen before. How to Train Your Dragon, anyone? Let's talk about all the ways this animated adventure movie that's all about monsters and hunters becoming friends reminded us of another film of its kind. Number 1. Red and Toothless. The most obvious similarity between The Sea Beast and How to Train Your Dragon has to be the two movies' main monsters. The Sea Beast's main monster, Red, reminds us a lot of Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon, especially when we see close-ups of those cat-like green eyes. These two beasts actually have very similar super sweet faces. It's really no wonder even a seemingly cold-hearted hunter could fall in love with these two. And speaking of hunters becoming their all-time number one fans, Red and Toothless also play very similar roles in the worlds of their movies. They both inspire their one-time predators to give them a chance and give up on killing for good. And in doing so, they make their worlds better for everyone. It seems like the most unlikely characters of all were the ones who turned out to be the heroes. Number 2. Reformed Hunters. Speaking of heroes, did you happen to notice that both of these movies are all about hunters changing their ways?
No more monster hunting!
Many fans have also pointed out the strangely similar plot lines the movies share. Both movies are all about hunters who become reformed and change their jobs and their outlooks on life after meeting the monsters they've been focused on hunting. It's pretty hard to ignore how similar these movies are when you think about that. Number 3. Beasts as Pets. Both movies follow main characters who end up treating what they previously thought of as monsters like their own pets. Maisie adopts Blue, a very little and very wild sea beast. And Hiccup plays fetch with Toothless, so there's definitely a pretty serious person and pet dynamic here. Who wouldn't want a dragon as a pet? Just look at that little, big face.
Oh, give me a cuddle, Grumpy!
Number 4. Hiccup and Maisie. You know who else seems like soul siblings from different movies? Maisie reminds us a lot of Hiccup. Red and Toothless aren't the only characters who have counterparts in the other movie. Like Maisie, Hiccup comes from a family of hunters. And while at the start of their respective movies both characters are ready to follow in their parents' footsteps, they both quickly come around to the idea that the family business is more cruel than admirable. They're also both willing to change their ways and stand up against others for their beliefs.
They killed hundreds of us!
And we've killed thousands of them!
Number 5. Hiccup and Jacob. Maisie isn't the only character Hiccup has a lot in common with. He's also a lot like Jacob. Despite Hiccup and Maisie's similarities, Hiccup is even more like the sea beast's other main character. Both Hiccup and Jacob believe that slaying beasts is the way to achieve a meaningful life.
Please, 2 minutes. I'll kill a dragon. My life will get infinitely better. I might even get a date.
They're not just hunters by trade. They think hunting is the best way to be a hero. Until they actually get to know their prey, that is. As both of these movies progress, Hiccup and Jacob both learn that they aren't meant to be hunters and that maybe hunting is actually wrong. And of course, they each form a bond with a friendly beast. To be fair, who wouldn't form a bond with these cuties? Number 6. Captive Creatures. There is one scene in each film in particular where Red and Toothless remind us a lot of each other, and they definitely aren't our favorite scenes. There's a scene when Hiccup finds Toothless tied up, and it looks a lot like when the sailors finally get a hold of Red and tie her up in ropes. It's not easy to watch these big sweethearts get trapped, but it makes it even better when they're freed again. Number 7. Stoic and Crow. Another pair of characters that likely reminded you of each other are Stoic the Vast and Captain Crow. Just as How to Train Your Dragon has Chief of the Tribe Stoic the Vast, who's merciless against dragons, the Sea Beast has Captain Crow, who's equally as focused on defeating the Sea Beasts. They also both refer to their respective monsters as devils, which gives us a little insight into just how much they dislike those guys.
Lead us home, devil.
I strike at thee, devil!
And of course, it's definitely not as easy for them to come around and change their ways as some of the other characters. Number 8. Hunting how-to texts. How do you learn how to hunt monsters? With a monster hunting how-to book, of course. Both How to Train Your Dragon and the Sea Beasts have an educational monster hunting text in their worlds. In How to Train Your Dragon, the Dragon Manual teaches the hunters about their prey. And in The Sea Beast, they have a book titled Tales of Captain Crow that they use to learn about the sea beasts.
Our books, our history is a lie.
Number 9. Humans vs. Beasts. Each movie has an action-packed humans vs. beasts scene at the beginning. Early on, both movies have a sequence showing the beasts preying on the hunters to set up the backstory of the relationship between the beasts and the humans around them. Of course, later on, both stories teach us that maybe these beasts aren't as scary as they seem.
They're not what we think they are.
Number 10. Opening parallels. There's another parallel to be found early on in both movies, their opening scenes. While The Sea Beast focuses on beasts of the sea and How to Train Your Dragon focuses on beasts of the sky, both of these movies open with the wild, crashing ocean against the night sky. Number 11. Wide variety of beasts. There isn't just one beast to be found in either of these movies. Rather, both The Sea Beast and How to Train Your Dragon have a wide variety of different kinds of beasts in their respective universes. The hunters who set sail on the inevitable in The Sea Beast run into their fair share of different kinds of sea monsters on their journey. And How to Train Your Dragon has its own wide variety of monsters that can be found in the Dragon Manual. Number 12. Vikings and Sailors. The Vikings from How to Train Your Dragon are very similar to the sailors from The Sea Beast. While Vikings and Sailors are of course pretty different, it's difficult to ignore just how much the main characters' shipmates and hunting mates remind us of each other. It seems they're all cut from the same beast-hating cloth in the end. Number 13. Sea monsters. Did you know that both The Sea Beast and How to Train Your Dragon both involve sea monsters? While the majority of the monsters of How to Train Your Dragon are found in the sky, there is a sea monster in the How to Train Your Dragon universe. And it looks very similar to that of The Sea Beast. While the sea dragon, aka Sea Dragonus giganticus, doesn't appear in the films until How to Train Your Dragon 2, this species of dragon is frequently mentioned in the How to Train Your Dragon book series. Number 14. Off-duty hunters. Ever wonder where the hunters go when they're not, well, hunting? We actually get to see a similar scene in both movies that show the hunters in their respective off-duty hangout spots. Sometimes you just need to crack open a cold one after a long day of monster hunting. Monster hunters, they're just like us. Number 15. The Real World with a Twist. Both How to Train Your Dragon and The Sea Beast have their own world that's a lot like the real world, but with a twist. How to Train Your Dragon follows a Viking village with dragons lurking around, and The Sea Beast follows a hunting ship with sea beasts occupying the waters. Both movies are somewhat period pieces that work in a kind of realism, with the exception, of course, of their titular mythical creatures. Wait, dragons aren't real, right? Did you notice the similarities between these two awesome animated favorites? Were there any other similarities that stuck out to you? Let's talk about it in the comments. And remember to like and subscribe to the Things Animated for all the tea about your animated favorites.